no way, after all of this blood that we have lost as Egyptians, that we will accept anyone from the old regime.
Hello and welcome to Egypt Elections 2012. As they prepare for their first presidential election since they ousted Hosni Mubarak, Egyptians are far from satisfied with the current circumstance. What if the ruling military council, they say, is planning to influence the election process and thus cling on to power? That question became much more serious after deadly clashes between protesters outside the Defence Ministry and security forces. Now, to help us make a clearer picture of what lies ahead, I'm joined by writer and journalist Adil Lutfi in London and political analyst Rola Talj in Beirut. Thank you very much for being with us. Mr. Adil Lutfi in London, first of all, let's have your view on this. Is SCAF exerting pressure from behind the scenes, for instance, to have its favoured candidate elected in the presidential election?
I think they are certainly doing that. Mind you, as I said many times before, they would hate to have any president because, as I mentioned last week here, that a puppet president is still a president and can do whatever he likes with the junta in the future, because there has never been any success in making any arrangements between the junta and the future authorities. So the situation is fluid and indecisive and undecided. So I think the most likely scenario is that the SCAF or the military council will cancel the election, and the supporters of Hazem Abu Smain gave them the opportunity by demonstrating on Al Abbasiyya Square. One more incident like that or event like that, and they would have enough excuse to cancel the presidential election. However, they are exerting pressure on the whole scene, and as many say, the SCAF are not ruling by themselves, but the Egyptian Mukhabarat, the secret services, are still ruling. Mr. Omar Suleiman has got a very strong hand, and some dare say that Mubarak has still got a hand moving the scene altogether. I said that nearly a year ago, but right. When somebody else says that right now, it has got a lot behind it, really.
Right.
So
let's put this issue to Rola Talj in Beirut, if I may. Rola, we hear, seeing Mr. Lutfi say there that they're looking for a puppet president, in his opinion, that they do have the military rulers a favoured candidate that they would like to be voted. Do you think that there is a favoured candidate now for the military rulers among the current candidates, and will the public vote for that candidate?
I think the military forces in Egypt they have their hands tied up a bit. I do not see any candidate they are in favor of because the scene in Egypt is very much unclear till today. One thing I know, and I was in Egypt, I returned yesterday, most Egyptians I know would like the army to seize power and to take control over the country. They don't care about elections anymore. It is also clear that there is a third party playing in Egypt. What I've seen and I found disturbing, the amount of Salafi gentlemen staying in 5-star hotels all over Egypt. One would wonder what are they doing there. Most of them they have like Libyan passports, and they claim to be in Egypt for medical reasons, which I find extremely doubtful. Now the question is, who is paying for those medical tourists in Egypt, and why there are so many of them? This would solve part of the mysteriousness of what's happening in Tahrir Square. One thing is for sure, most people who went to Tahrir Square during the revolution are against what's happening today and are no longer part of the demonstrations. The demonstrations in Egypt are not being peaceful at all.
So,
agenda of the demonstrators is
Ms.
not...
Talj, if I'm not mistaken, you're suggesting then that these Salafists that you speak of have been paid or are there in Egypt to create violence in order to delay the election process, to do for what intention?
From my point of view, it's not anymore an Arab or Muslim revolution. It's more about, like some, it seems, hidden agenda regarding the Khalifa project. Some in Egypt believe that either Qatar or Saudi Arabia or both are sponsoring those troops in order to come and try to empower the Salafi and the Brotherhood parties in Egypt. Egyptians are from all social levels